The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code NBA SGPN. Claim your 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Again, promo code NBA SGPN to claim your 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rithmm. Start crushing NBA, college football, and NFL with Rithmm. Get your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Rithmm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice, no the guy. It's me, really real, Villarreal. It's Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. Man. Not a good day in terms of block and dog, but I feel overall there was a lot of spots that we did hit on yesterday. We did hit on the Warriors. I did end up betting that. A very, very nice hit. This Warriors team is good. Warriors is good. Like, that is legit. The Knicks really, really disappointed us. I mean, yes, Atlanta has to win a game eventually. I didn't think it was going to be last night. No way, against the Knicks. And the Knicks finished with 116. We had them for a team total over 116 and a half. They finished 116 on the dot, and it was their own fault. It was completely their own fault. Should have just took the full game over. I discredit any chance that Atlanta had in the game. And you know what? I'm going to discredit Atlanta every single chance I get. So, nonetheless, where were we at? So, I was right on the Cleveland game. I hit the spread. However, I got a little frisky. I got cute. I took the alt spread. Shouldn't have did that. Should have just went ahead and rolled with Cleveland as the lock. However, Cleveland did get it done. This Cavs team is just a wagon right now. And then Denver coming out of nowhere and coming back in that game, able to get an outright win at home. I took OKC laying the points there. Very, very good performance by Westbrook. Westbrook had a great performance there. You know, that's not going to happen again. There's not too many times that happens.
For the record, I had us under 7.5 assists. So I thought it was a great performance by Westbrook. I thought he was great.
Yeah, amazing. He took all the shots and no assists. None.
Well, he had 6, but he didn't get 8. So that's good enough for me.
All right. As you heard him, Scott Studio Reichel. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, doing well. We only got 3 games today. Of course, the slate was a lot busier yesterday. A couple of really good games. Shout out to Rithmm, who had 33 points. Good for him. Besides that, you saw the Hornets win on that buzzer beater by Brandon Miller, sabotaged back-to-back triple-doubles by Cade. So shout out to Cade as well. Warriors had a nice win after one of the cringiest coach quotes I've ever heard in my entire life. But either way, nice job by the Warriors to get the job done in that one after blowing another 20-point lead. Golden State, not good at holding on to leads, but they're good at getting the win after blowing the massive lead. So keep that in mind. The Lakers still can't win a road game. LeBron had 39 points, but they got their asses kicked. Cleveland's good. Denver, Joker's doing everything for that damn team. I know Westbrook had a great game. 23, 20, and 16 against the best defense in the entire league by a mile. Yeah, Joker's on a different planet. That's all I'm going to say. He's the best player in the league by a wide margin. So that's kind of where I'm at with all the recap stuff from yesterday. The Raptors are a joke. The Sixers are a joke until Embiid comes back. Miami's a joke. They're not very good. And, Cleveland's a wagon. So there you go.
Miami did cover as a dog.
They were up double digits. They just can't win any games.
It's perfectly fine. We don't care about that. We're on the ATS margin here. All right.
Well, I said the opposite about the Suns the other day because I said that the Suns keep winning, but they're not covering. All their games are like within 7 points.
And that's why we were on Miami. The Suns don't cover.
That's my point, though. I don't know how good Phoenix actually is. Like, they keep winning these games, and Durant's playing at an insane level, but all your games are close no matter how bad your opponent is. I have some issues with that. Is that fair?
I mean, if you weren't a sports bettor, I feel like you would think less into that. And they keep winning games. Like, this is the Kansas City Chiefs of the NFL right now.
That's fair.
I mean, of the NBA right now. This is
My
the Kansas
point
City
is,
Chiefs
though,
of the
against
NBA.
some weak teams, they kind of let bad teams hang around. That's my main concern with Phoenix. But they're
Chiefs
winning.
let the Raiders hang around the other day. Like that's what it happens, Scott. It happens. It happens. This team is 6-2. Are they? Or is it 7-1? 7-1. They are 7-1, 2-6 against the spread. We know exactly how to bet this team. Don't try to get them to change anything up.
I would just bet win
get
margin 1-10 in every Suns game because
yes,
basically
either win the margin 1-10 or you just take the spread. But you just don't get them to change. When they start changing is when things start switching up. We have a great trend here. We keep fading the Suns not to cover.
It's fair.
All right.
Keep winning, not covering. So you could do the same game parlay, take the spread and the Suns money line, and just go from there. But all their games are close.
Yes, very much so. Keep keeping them close. Keep doing that. They could do that all season, and it would be great for me because we would still hit the over on the win total. All right. 3 games on the slate, Scott. Not much to talk about here, but enough to have a little bit of fun. So before we get to that, gotta remind everybody that you should tap into the college basketball experience if you're not already. Those shed powder heads just going out there and breaking down every single game. I mean, Scott, every time you look over there, they're live. Like every time you click over and
3 in the morning. Kobe's just making jokes at 3 in the morning, like an hour 2 of the live stream. I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. That's my type of crap.
And it's so funny because he's now on the East Coast with us now.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's just doing this at 3 in the morning and it's really like just barely midnight over on the West Coast. No, Kobe is up in the middle of the night doing this. Moneyline Mac and those guys over there at the Big 12 experience, Troy, all those guys, they're up in the like literally all day on live talking about these games.
I respect
it makes me concerned. It makes me concerned. I don't know. I can't back up. That's why I'm only there on Saturdays, Scott. I made the push. I was like Roman Reigns, and I said I don't have to be here every day. I'm here on Saturdays. You got me on Saturdays. All right. Make sure you tune into them. Give them a 5-star rating review. Give us a 5-star rating review, NBA Gambling Podcast as well. All right, Scott, let's get into it. 3 games on the slate. First game up, we have 8 p.m. All these games tipping off at 8 p.m. So we have this last episode together, Scott. We had the shotgun start, which I thought was amazing in terms of me watching all day. I was very, 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 very impressed and very, very satisfied with the shotgun start. No shotgun start today. They're just go ahead and firing all the pins off at one time. 8 p.m. on the East Coast, all 3 games. This is very WNBA schedule like here. Portland Trailblazers on the road going to play these San Antonio Spurs. Spurs coming off a back-to-back. Portland catching 4 on the road here. 217.5 is the total. Let's get an injury report up for these 2 teams. And we have for the Portland Trailblazers, Shady and Sharp is a game-time decision. Matisse Thybulle is out. You have a game-time decision on Devin fucking Vassell, Scott. Devin Vassell is a game-time decision. We could see Devin Vassell play in this game. I have to go look this up and see if Devin Vassell is actually ruled in. This will completely change my handicap. But Trey Jones is also out. Jeremy Sohan is also out. Back-to-back for the Spurs here, laying 4 points at home. No pop.
I can't tell if Terrell froze or not. Think he froze. All right. Well, you're saying no pop, but Vassell might be back, so we'll see how the Spurs do in this one.
Or did we lose me?
Are you back? You good? No, you're still lagging out. I think. Your connection's kind of shot. You good? All right.
Yeah. Am I?
I think now you're back. Okay, welcome back.
Am I good?
Yeah, now you're good.
Did you hear
cool. I mean, you kind of like froze and then you came back 10 seconds later, so I couldn't really tell what was happening. But either way,
did I get through the
said
preview?
No pop and Vassell might be back. So, what do you think? Because I really want to play the sound drop. It's early in the season. I know Portland's been a bit feisty at times, mostly against New Orleans. They played New Orleans 3 times already. I think the Spurs aren't any good. Is it time to can we play the drop yet, or is it too early to do that?
They're only 2 games. It's 3 and 5, Scott.
I know. I just think both these teams are bad.
And Portland's 5-2 and 1 ATS.
Yeah.
The fuck? No,
okay.
no, we are not playing this. They're 5-2
Fair
and
enough.
1.
Either way,
That's crazy.
point is, I'm going to take the points in this one because I don't think the Spurs are worthy of laying points against basically anybody. I understand the argument is they got Wemby. Congrats. You might be getting Vassell back. We're not sure yet, so we'll see what happens. Trey Jones is still out. Sohan's out though, which is a pretty big deal as well. So I still don't think this team's any good. Houston beat them by 30 last night. Like I don't think the Spurs are anything to write home about. And I did love their win total under because Wemby gets such praise, which he deserves. I understand that he's a great player. But they wanted to carry the entire team in year 2. The team's not any good. I think Portland's actually had some games where they have shown up. They have a lot of scoring punch, whether it involves Simons, whether it involves Grant, even Ayton, who, when he's not shooting 3 of 13, has had some solid games this season. I'm going to go with Portland in this one. They've been good in the dog roll. You mentioned their numbers ATS. They've been able to get the job done in some spots. In San Antonio, I really don't think it's that good. But in a matchup with two teams I really don't think are in the even mid-tier in the league, give me the points. I can't lay this with San Antonio. I really think that Portland's the better team.
All right. The back-to-back means nothing right now. Teams on a back-to-back are actually killing.
Yeah.
Man. I don't know, Scott.
It's
San
such a
Antonio's
tricky
top 10
game, but
defense.
I can't lay
San
this.
Antonio's a top 10 defense.
They should be, because Wemby intimidates everyone at the rim, but offensively, they're a mess.
Yeah, they can't move the foot. You can't not move the football. I'm stuck on my NFL breakdown that I have to do after this.
They
can't
probably couldn't move a
score
football either.
basketball at all.
They can't move a basketball. They probably couldn't move a football. But the
If you
offense
can
is
dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
pretty much. But I mean, do you agree that like San Antonio is overvalued in all their games, and they really have not looked the part in most of them?
I think they've been overvalued a lot. One, because Sir Devin Vassell has not been in the lineup. 4-4 ATS on the season, slightly better at home, 2-1 at home in the 3 games. But I mean, I think what it comes down to for me is I ultimately think that San Antonio defensively is going to look still really, really solid in this game. And I just don't know if Portland, I mean, they have the 106-105 win against the Clippers, which is a really good win, looking at their schedule thus far. But nonetheless, when Portland hasn't been able to score, they really haven't been in a lot of these games. This is a really short spread, like 2 possessions. You're telling me that Portland can't score? They can't win by 5, 6. Like,
They could.
I don't know. I think this is a pretty solid spot for San Antonio. And for me, I mean, it's not going to be for a lot of people, but for me, Devin Vassell back into the lineup, really, really good in terms of helping them being able to score. I think Chris Paul is going to be able to play alongside a guy like Devin Vassell. We know the Chris Paul to Wemby connection is pretty solid. Like, I think what they were missing last game was the fact that they didn't have a Vassell, and they were also missing Trey Jones and Sohan. That's a lot of pieces missing from the lineup in that game yesterday. But now you're telling me that you're probably going to get Vassell back in the second game. I was fading the Spurs yesterday. I think this is a spot where I'm actually willing to back them. I just think the defense is going to be too much for Portland. So I'll take the Spurs laying 4 here in the return of Devin Vassell. And by the way, I did do some diving while you were talking. Devin Vassell did post on his Instagram and said so close. So I think we're about there. If Vassell plays, I'm taking Spurs for sure.
Point is that between two teams I really don't want to trust, I'd rather not be laying points here. So you might be right, but I'll go with Portland for now. Probably not going to bet this game because that involves backing one of these two teams. Portland, though, good ATS, as you said before. So props to them for that, I guess. Not winning many games, but at least they're competitive.
5-2-1. You know who's not good ATS? And we'll talk about it because you tried to play the drop during this game. I will let you play it in the next game. However, before we get to that, real quick on the total, 217.5.
I mean, I still don't think Portland can stop anybody, but the question is, you think the Spurs defense shows up? So I don't know if you think it's correlated or not. I'm going to go over because if I'm picking Portland to cover, I'm picking them to score in this game, which might sound like kind of a reverse correlation because usually if you back the dog, you want the under. But I don't think Portland knows how to actually play low-scoring games. I'll go with the over. I'll just go with points.
Yeah, I think that Portland's going to struggle to score here. Give me Spurs 110-100. Give me an under 217.5. So we're completely on opposite sides here in this game, Scott.
Yep.
Good way to start the show. All right. Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you use Underdog Fantasy Pick'em, NBA, NFL, college football, basketball, and MMA, WNBA, NASCAR, all of that more. Make sure you take advantage of everything Underdog has to offer. You can get a whole bunch of crazy boosts too, and they have your they saved us. They saved us yesterday, Scott, because Jalen Duran. Of course, whenever we add Jalen Duran to a pick'em lineup, he decides to get hurt in the first quarter. But they rescued us, Scott. We got rescued. We got rescued by Underdog, and they gave us the entry back because we hit the other two plays. Shout out to SGA and shout out to what was it, Ja? I think it was Ja was the other one. I might be mistaken. I might be putting multiple different lineups together, but nonetheless, we hit the other two plays and they rescued us, so we got it back. So it's kind of like we actually are still on a heater of an Underdog lineup. We're going to drop another Underdog lineup at the end of the show. Make sure you use that promo code NBASGPN. Claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code NBASGPN. Woo, Scott. All right. You've been very, very trigger happy on the button this season. I'm going to allow you to hit the button officially for the first time this season because the 1-6 Utah Jazz are on the road going to play the 1-6 Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to see. Even a bigger toilet bowl, by the way, because Giannis and Laurie might not play.
And the fact that Utah is 2-4-1 against the spread, and the Milwaukee Bucks are 2-5 against the spread. These teams have been horrible in the early part of the season. Bucks are laying 9.5 though. 229 is the total injury report for these two teams, and we have, like you said, game time decision on Lauri Markkanen, Jordan Clarkson as well. Giannis is a game time decision. You know, Chris Middleton's not playing.
When is he ever playing?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean,
I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. It's kind of the same thing that I said for the Spurs breakdown, which is I feel like it's a game between two teams I don't want to back right now. So why would I lay points? I'm just going to make it harder on myself to actually trust a bad team. I think Utah can accidentally get there by scoring enough points. Milwaukee can't guard anybody. So I think Utah has enough firepower, whether it involves Laurie maybe playing, maybe you get George having a solid game. They have a couple guys who can step up. Milwaukee did play pretty well without Giannis, though, in that second Cavs game. They choked it away anyway because Doc Rivers, of course. But still, the point is they were decent without him, but they've been a mess defensively. Dame can't guard anybody. I don't care what he says, but that defensive backcourt is atrocious. I'm going with the over and give me Utah. I just see points in this game. I think each team could get to 115, 120. It might be a track meet with or without Giannis and with or without Laurie. So give me the over and give me the points.
Yeah, pretty much. I think the optimism for this game is the fact that you look at the past two games against the Cavs and you're saying, oh, they only lost by 1 the first game. And then on the road, they covered the 8.5 point spread.
Probably
But
should have
it's
won
like,
that game, by the way. They were winning in the fourth quarter of that game.
yeah, covered the 8.5 point spread. And it's like, it's different to cover 8.5 points when you're getting 8.5 points than when you're laying 8.5 points. And this team has just been really, really bad. Whereas, I mean, at the very least, I know the Jazz are going to score the basketball, maybe, especially if it's a bad defense. Maybe not against a good defense, but if a bad defense, the Jazz are going to go out there and put up points. They did it. What was that? The other night, Monday, against the Bulls. That's what it was. Against the Bulls, they put up 135. Like, they're gonna, if you're not locked in defensively, this Jazz team can take advantage. They covered 12 points on the road against Dallas. Now we know Dallas is a fade at home when they're laying big points, but it just means that this team isn't 100% out of it. I'm gonna take the Jazz. I just can't lay in a toilet bowl. I mean, Scott, have we ever seen 9.5 points in a toilet bowl before?
I'm sure we have, because we had some really bad, like, Trailblazer teams at the end of the year. Usually this is the tankathon.
9.5 points, though?
For the tankathon, we have seen some big spreads, because teams were sitting half the team.
But it was a toilet bowl, and it was a toilet bowl?
That's fair, but Memphis was missing, like, 90% of the roster last year. I'm sure there were a couple of games there where they were getting, like, double digits. But, by the way, Helms, I mean, you could say what you want about Milwaukee and the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll see if they can get past Indiana. They didn't last year. So we'll see what happens, but we'll see. Milwaukee's in trouble. I'll put it that way. But I appreciate your optimism, but they can't stop anybody.
It's a long season, so could Milwaukee be good at the end of the season? Possibly, but right now they fucking suck. Give me Jazz.
They could be
Plus
good.
points.
They got to switch coaches, but they could be good.
and then end up with Terry Stotts or Darvin Ham.
They're not going to play much defense either, but at least Dame will be happy. But this roster, I've said it before, they just kept the band too long together. They ran out of hits. They're trying to come out with new albums, and everything's kind of trash. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Whether it involves like actual groups, whether it involves a rap artists, anything. Sometimes people hold on too long and they try to coast on their reputation. Shout out to Kanye. Point is, though, I do think that the Bucks are
Kanye
not
still
in good
makes
form.
good music, man.
I'll fade them. Kanye
He's just
now? No.
crazy.
The Bucks right
He's
now
just
are
crazy.
down to 2. That's how I'll describe it. So no, I think their best days are behind them. So I'll go with the Jazz plus the points. Is that a fair comp? Can I call the Bucks down to 2? Is that fair?
What? You didn't like Donda 2?
No. I think most people think Donda 2 wasn't very good. Or at least maybe after like they fix it up a little bit, but initially when it dropped, no. I think most people think Donda was not one of Kanye's best works. Let's put it
Well,
that
I
way.
mean, yeah, not one of the best, but or was
I'm saying
Vultures?
the bar's been set high
Vultures
in the
was
past.
good. Vultures 2 was good.
Eh.
That's where you had the yeah. Wait, hold on. This,
I think you're
this one was
forcing
good.
it.
What are you talking about?
I think
Scott?
you're forcing it. I think if you ask most people, they would tell you that
The joint with
Kanye
Ty
fell
Dolla
off.
Signs?
I think they tell you Kanye fell off. That's all I'm saying.
Wow. You don't want no problems.
I'm just saying, I miss the old Kanye straight up the gold Kanye. That's all I'm saying.
That joint go crazy, man. That joint is tough. I don't care what nobody say.
At one point, I don't know if the album.
I mean, it's not graduation, like it's not nothing like that, but it's still good.
It's not late registration. It's not Dark Twisted Fantasy. I mean, you're going down the line here. It's pretty.
I guess we're calling the Bucks Kanye West now. The Bucks.
That's what I'm saying.
Or the artist formerly known as Kanye West.
Fair.
All right, 229.5 is total. Scott, this is my I don't know if this is going to make the lock portion because I've already given it out on another show, but I love this over.
I can't go with the under. These teams don't guard anybody.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's going to be any defense played in this one. I think that and if the Bucks do cover, this could be something very easily of like a 130 to 110 type of cover.
If the Bucks cover, I'm expecting Dame to go for 30, and Portis probably goes for like 20 and 15.
Portis should kill today.
He should. I mean, he killed last game.
Wow, that's a great. I wonder if that's an underdog. We might have to add that underdog. Make sure you make a note of that, Scott. We got to remember Bobby Portis an underdog.
We'll do.
All right. Yeah, we're both on the over. Okay. Before we get to the last game of the slate, gotta talk to you about Rithmm. Let me cook up Rithmm and see what Bron Breaker's talking about for today. Oh man. By the way, Bron Breaker. So since last time we talked about Bron Breaker, he has taken a couple of losses. We're still pretty good, about 60% here in the picks. He's a lot better on his money lines, and I mean not his money lines, on his spread than totals right now. I will admit a little bit more of a tilt to Bron Breaker whenever he's on a spread than a total. But let's see. All right, so I don't have Bron Breaker. Bron Breaker is not 100% active today, but I will admit I do have a second model, Scott. This one focuses on 3-point shooting and defense. Nonetheless, I have named this model Team 3D.
Okay. Respect.
Team 3D is on the under 218 in the Spurs and Trailblazers game. Okay. I mean, that's right. That's all I need to see right there. That's all I need to see. Under 218 in the Spurs and Trailblazers game. Make sure go build your model. Go see the things that you value in the game and build your model on Rithmm. They make it super duper easy. Get your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right. And we're also brought to you by BetUS. Bet the best of the business with BetUS. So you could take that under 218 and take it over to BetUS and be able to place the bet there. In fact, they're also going to give you a 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Make sure you use that promo code SGPN. SGPN is the promo code. Make sure you tap into BetUS. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. All right. Last game on the slate here. I will admit, Bron Breaker has a money line play in this game. I am not sure how I feel about it. I'm not going to let him play it.
Bad. This slate
I'm
is so terrible, man. This slate's awful. All
I'm
right.
not gonna let him play it, but if he does hit it, I will be extremely impressed with Braun Breaker here. But I should also say Team 3D is also on this same play too. The Minnesota Timberwolves are on the road going to play the Chicago Bulls. Timberwolves laying 8.5, 227.5 is total injury report here for these two teams, and nothing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. While we also have Zach LaVine, who did not play yesterday as a game time decision. Lonzo Ball is out, as we know. So I can admit that game might have been a little bit closer in the end yesterday, but the Bulls just completely pulled everybody and said, forget it. And I know they pulled everybody and said, forget it, because I had Vucevic over 10.5 rebounds, and he finished with 10 because he didn't play in the fourth quarter. Nonetheless, teams on back-to-backs have started off pretty solid this season. I have a philosophy that I trust Ant. I don't trust the Minnesota Timberwolves. Scott, what are we doing here? Laying 8.5.
Bulls money line. Let's get weird with it. That's where I'm at. I
Holy
don't
crap.
want to lay this with Minnesota. I'll just say that to start, because Minnesota's a team that I think is very overrated. I think Minnesota's fine. Watching them play, they're 4-3. Have you been overly impressed with Minnesota? I know Ant's been shooting a bunch of threes. He's been shooting very well from three. But you're looking at Randall, who's been fine offensively. Defensively, not the same. McDaniels has been horrible, and I feel like we got to at least talk about it because he was such a good defensive player last year. He's like borderline unplayable. I don't know what happened to McDaniels, but he just has kind of lost his mojo. Shout out to Austin Powers. But point is, he just can't get it together this season. So I don't really know what Minnesota's supposed to do. But do I like their bench unit? Nobody's been able to shoot. DiVincenzo's been underwhelming. I like Nas. I think Adante gets it together at some point, but he's not shot well from three. Minnesota's a team that I just think is overvalued. It just seems like they're based on reputation right now, on what the upside can be. We thought they would struggle early, especially defensively. They have. Are you sold on this team because they are currently at a record of 4-3, and they came from behind in a miracle win against Denver? They should be below 500. Like, I don't think they're that good. So I'm going to go with Chicago. Chicago might not be great, but they're feisty. They can score, at least to keep games close. They might not win, but 8.5 on the road? I'm not laying that. Give me Chicago in the United Center.
It's so funny because Braun Breaker and Team 3D also both on Chicago Bulls money line.
It's such a massive spread, though, at 8.5.
They're both
Such a
on the
crazy
Chicago
spread.
Bulls money line. Yeah,
Doesn't that
no,
spread
but
seem massive, though, for what Minnesota's been this season?
and it's the fact that Zach didn't play yesterday. Like,
No.
Zach's been so good this year. He's walked in. He's been walking in 20 points. I think that this Bulls team is a culmination of a bunch of players that feel like they're a lot better than they are, and they're taking advantage of the opportunity that's being given to them. Because Josh Giddey has been playing pretty well, I think, in terms of just being able to run the offense. Like, he doesn't have to worry about SGA anymore and splitting, ball handling with SGA. He's kind of helped run that offense. Kobe White has had his moments. Zach has had his moments. Vucevic continues to be a model of consistency for them, even though he didn't get over those 10.5 rebounds last night. By the way, he's 100% locked to get over it today just because he didn't get over it last night when I bet him, and I'm not going to bet him today. And it's been the last 3 losses for the Chicago Bulls. I think this is a pretty solid get-up spot at home here. Even though they're on a back-to-back, teams on back-to-back's been good this year. Like, they've been good in the early part of the season. Maybe this is something later on in the season when there's a lot more injuries, a lot more fatigue from games played. But right now, I mean, I can't say that the back-to-back angle scares me because teams have been going off back-to-backs and winning outright as big dogs. So, yeah, I think I'm with you. I trust Ant. I don't trust the Timberwolves. And I have to force myself to remember that every time I see the Timberwolves playing a game, because I'm gonna immediately want to jump on this Timberwolves team. But at the end of the day, this Timberwolves team is 2-5 ATS and 1-2 on the road.
They should arguably be 0-3, by the way, because they had a game against the Kings where they trailed in the final minute and they won. But you're looking at the road numbers. If I'm going to roast the Lakers for being a terrible road team, which they are, I got to mention Minnesota. Because they played the Lakers. They got blown out in that game. Despite what the final score was 7, they got blown out, if you were watching the game. Came back against the Kings, game they could have lost. Played San Antonio, lost by 10. So they might not be a good road team either. So I'm not laying 8.5 here. That's where I'm at.
No, I'm with you. I agree. All right. We take the Bulls here. That's an ugly game, but we take the Bulls here.
They're all ugly games.
8.5 is a lot. It's a lot of points.
On the road? I might lay it at home with Minnesota, not on the road. They got to show me they can actually play on the road first.
Rudy Gobert's still on the Timberwolves too. That's worth minus a point. Easy. All right, 227 and a half is
been okay this season, but fair enough.
Ask Christian Braun.
I mean, they won the game. He kind of shut down Joker at the end, so.
I think they went on a run literally after he got dunked on too.
They did.
I'm pretty sure that's
Gobert like half shoved him. I'm not saying Gobert handled it well, and of course he's got a lot of bad poster highlights, but Gobert did basically win Minnesota the game at the end. Just to be clear, he was great defensively down the stretch against Joker. I'll give him props where it's due.
Nah, he still sucks. All right.
That's fair. Okay.
227 and a half is the total. I mean, if we like Chicago, then this is clearly a high-scoring game.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, like there's no way Chicago doesn't win a close defensive game against the Timberwolves here. No, so yeah, over. And they're really bad defensively. I would be, if this spread was shorter, I would be considering a Minnesota team total over, but I just think that's too much at this point. I'd rather just take the full game. All right, that's it. 3 games on the slate. We're in and out very quickly on a Thursday. Scott, let's get the lock dog. Drop an underdog lineup. Scott, I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay. These games are so bad, I'm contemplating hockey for my lock and dog. No, for the actual play for this one. I do think I am going to go back to that Utah and Milwaukee game because I just don't see any defense being played at all by either team. The question is, I want the team total over, or I want to go with the full game over, and I think I want the full game because I think one of these teams could score 130. It is possible that one of these teams potentially just doesn't show up offensively and the other team just carries. Like, if we're wrong, let's say Giannis plays and Milwaukee kills this team.
Mm-hmm.
They can still send it over by going 130 by themselves. So I'm going to go with the over at 229.5 in that game as my lock. Until either team guards anybody, just give me points. Give me the over in that one. For the dog, I don't know if I want to go Bulls money line or not, so I think I'm going to have to go with, I'd say, a more interesting option for a player prop. So for the actual player prop in this one, what do I want to do? Because there are a couple games that I'm thinking about. Do I want to go for Vucevic threes? That could be an option, but I don't know if I actually want it or not. Let me just see what I can get here. What do I want? Sorry, just trying to find something I might be intrigued by. What do I want to go with? Yeah, you know what? I think I'm just going to go for it. I'm not going to wait too long on it. I am going to go with Dante to get it together from 3. Give me Dante over 2.5 threes at plus 140. He's had 3 threes in back-to-back games, and Chicago's fine against the 3, but it's mostly just based on the volume. He's still attempting about 6 per game, give or take, 7 and change per game. So with the amount of minutes he plays and with his overall shooting recently, he's gone over in 2 straight, and his numbers at 2.5 plus 140. Give me 3 straight at, once again, plus 140 as my dog.
All right. Lock. Minnesota Bulls over 227.5.
Okay.
Don't think it's much defense there. I think the Bulls are going to be competitive. Hopefully Zach does play. I may consider getting out of this if we hear Zach's not playing. But nonetheless, they were so bad yesterday. And they didn't play the third quarter. Like it was reserves not in the third, in the fourth quarter. There was reserves playing. So I'm not too keen on they need rest here. They played 3 quarters last night. I think they'll be fine. They'll be able to score. Minnesota, I trust Ant to score. And I think that Dante, you're right. Dante can get together. Julius Randle on the inside should have a nice little game as well. Like I think they have options to go to scoring the basketball. So 227.5. I think this is a little low. I think this could finish in the 230s. Give me the over in the Minnesota Timberwolves and Chicago Bulls game. For my dog. Interesting.
I wouldn't player prop route. I mean, you can go Bobby Portis if you want to go for something with him. I doubt they're going to have props, though, because they have to wait for Giannis.
Yeah, does Bobby Portis have props out?
I doubt it. No.
Yeah,
the only 2 people with props, actually, are... I see Giannis and Lowry, because if they don't play, it gets voided. So, yeah, they're purposefully holding out.
Cowards.
Yep.
Just fucking cowards.
I mean, I get it, but cowards.
No, they're cowardice. All right, I know what I'm doing. Give me the Milwaukee Bucks to get a win, but we're gonna take a win margin.
1 to 10.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Give me the Milwaukee Bucks 1 to 10 plus 190. What? Plus 190? What?
Big, yeah. Mm.
This is them covering the spread and winning the game. This is 2-1 on them to cover the spread. I mean, not for the Utah Jazz to cover the spread and the Bucks just to win the game. What? Absolutely. And I save myself if I get hooked as well. Yeah, I will 100% take that. Thank you, Bucks. 1 to 10 plus 190. They're bad, but they're not that fucking bad. They're going to get the win. They're just not going to cover. All right. There we go. Let's get Underdog. See what we can crook up on Underdog. I'm really annoyed about the bot. Maybe Underdog has Bobby Portis.
I'm skeptical, but I'm rooting for us.
I doubt it. I'm going to type it in anyway. Oh, I mean, Scott, his name doesn't even pop up. They don't even know what a Portis is. All right. Let's see here. What do we like here for Underdog?
Do we want anything in that Portland San Antonio game because we think it might be ugly? Do we want like Victor blocks or something? Victor rebounds?
They are going to drive inside a lot. Blocks is 3.5.
He's been alternating.
Huh?
I said he's been alternating between over and under 3.5. 2 games last year, he had 7 in the first game and he had 2 in the second game.
And then what is he this season?
Right now, Victor is going through the numbers. He's actually 3 and 5 to the over 3.5 blocks, but he's been alternating between over and under. So he was under last game, if that matters.
All right, let's take the higher.
All right,
we'll go with it. I'm fine. Victor is not a bad play. I do. Scott, we're not going to throw it in Underdog because I already have enough leverage on him. But I will admit, I did play a Denny Abdia prop today.
Okay.
Played the rebounds and assists. Yeah. Well, okay. I probably could have just took rebounds, but I took rebounds and assists.
And then I know that JR mentioned before that he wanted Vucevic double-double, which I'm not against, but
yeah.
It's fine.
Sure. I mean, he's 100% getting 11 rebounds today. I know that for a fact because
we got some birthday news, by the way.
Off yesterday.
Yeah,
I did. I saw that. Filipowski. Absolutely. They don't have anything out for him, but if Lauri's ruled out, he's going to be starting. So that might be an amazing spot for a birthday game. Getting a start on your birthday in like your rookie season.
I'm going with the day early game because I actually think Keontae's got a great matchup. I'll fit anybody that Dame's going to have to guard. And Keontae went crazy against the Bulls, so I don't mind him hitting a bunch of threes in that game.
Day early birthday game, Scott. Risky. Very risky.
Well, the argument is he's going to be so drunk on his birthday that he can't really have a birthday game.
All right,
we got a lot of illnesses on the injury report for birthdays, so just keep that in mind.
Let's get something else in this Minnesota game. We like this game to go over.
Okay.
How do we want to play it?
So you want to do a 4-pick entry?
No. Wait, we have 3 picks already? What's the third pick?
I thought Vucevic double-double was an option.
Yeah, I have Vucevic double-double and Wemby higher 3.5 blocks. What's the fourth one? What's the third one?
I thought you were going to go back to Avdia.
Oh, I mean, we don't have to. I can.
That's what I thought we were doing, so that's why I was confused.
Oh, yeah. We could play Avdia rebounds, for sure.
Sure.
Let's see here. Where is just rebounds? Do they not have just rebounds? No, they don't. All right. Oh, yes, they do. Never mind. I lied. And it's a little spicy. Hell yeah. What? Pfft, they're ridiculous. Okay. Victor Wembanyama higher 3.5 blocks. We have Nikola Vucevic higher a double-double. That's 1.11x spicy. And then we have Denny Avdia higher 6.5 rebounds. That's 1.1x spicy. Add all that in the Underdog and you get 7.32x on the Underdog lineup. $100 gets you $732. Make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN. And yeah, we are going to play Filipowski. And man, day before a birthday game with Keontae George. I'm going to ride with it because it is a good matchup. But I will admit, very nerve-wracking here playing the day before the birthday. But maybe by the time this game is over on the East Coast, it'll be his birthday. So, potentially. I have to figure out where Keontae George is from. That's also gonna make that. Where is he from? But Scott, anything else for the people before we get up out of here?
Yeah, you got Ravens Bengals on. That's fun TV. You have some hockey on. Got college football, college basketball. If you don't like these games, you got a lot of options to watch. So just keep that in mind.
All right. He is from Texas. However, he did go to IMG. I do remember that. So he does have a little bit of East Coast ties. We're gonna play it. We're gonna play it. All right. He's at Right Radio. I'm at really well __. Make sure you give us a follow. Make sure you drop a like before you get up out the video. Please, please, please drop a like before you get out of the video. Like, comment, subscribe, NBA Gambling Podcast, and give us a 5-star rating review on Apple and Spotify. Please help us move up the podcast charts here. With that, I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just gonna end like this. We are out of here.